As we are still following this mall shooting, we just got an update from police. It's still a very active scene at the moment. We want to play out for you the police press conference that just wrapped up here. Hopefully we got a little bit more detail, a little bit more information about what exactly transpired. Here's this from just moments ago.
Agencies, including the entire staff of the Oak Brook Police Department here on the scene to clear the mall. We are currently clearing each store by store. There are still shoppers and store staff in some of the stores, and we've asked them to shelter in place until which time we have SWAT and tactical teams going store to store, clearing those stores to make sure that if we can locate the potential missing offender. At this time, that's all the information I have. I'll take very few questions because then we'll do this again in about an hour as I get updates.
Chief Kruger, to be clear, it was two individuals shooting at each other. This was a shootout between two individuals. Is that correct?
That's the information we have at this time.
And the four people hit by ricochet gunfire, you're saying, are they associated with those two individuals, or some of them may have just been shoppers walking by?
I can't answer that at this time. We don't know if any of them were companions of the two individuals or just shoppers that were in the area.
Well, you're saying one of the four may have been known to one of the two who were shooting each other and is...
Or potentially one of the shooters.
Or potentially, okay.
That's correct.
Do we know what this was, what started all of this?
No, we do not yet.
Everything start outside?
I'm sorry?
Everything start outside the mall, in the parking lot?
Where exactly did the shooting happen?
This occurred in one of the corridors. Oak Brook Center is an open-air mall, and it happened in one of the corridors near the Ann Taylor store, just adjacent to the Nordstrom store.
What geographically, what part of the mall is that?
That would be the eastern part of the mall.
Ann Taylor and Nordstrom.
That's correct.
Chief, about when this happened again?
We were, the officer originally heard the shots at 5:44 p.m.
And how many shots?
I can't give you that at this time.
What kind of weapons were you using?
I also don't have that information yet at this time.
One of the shooters you think is still at large though?
Potentially. We're still clearing the mall, and our investigators are reviewing any video that's available in the area.
And these are two adult males that were shooting at each other?
That's correct.
The four who were injured, what are their genders and ages?
I don't have that yet at this time.
Chief, I'm sorry, did you say conditions yet? Do you have
just they're believed to be in non-life-threatening conditions as far as, yes.
Do you have male, female?
No, I don't.
Chief, just to clarify, so 4 victims, of the 4, one of them is believed to
Potentially
be a potential shooter.
one of the people involved. That's correct.
And again, non-life-threatening injuries for all?
That's what the fire department's told me.
Can you characterize where on the body some of these injuries?
No, just that some of it was ricochet, and I don't know if that meant lower extremities or not. I don't have that information.
One of the victims had a twisted ankle.
That would be the 5th. That's correct. Right.
But 4 hit by ricochet gunfire?
Well, 4 hit by gunfire, 3 of the 4 potentially by ricochet gunfire or stray gunshots.
Twisted his ankle.
That's correct.
And possibly 3 suspects.
I'm sorry?
3 suspects in total.
But that's what we're investigating right now. We know that we have one that was potentially one of the people that was shot. We have one in custody that we're questioning, and there potentially would be a third one that we're looking for.
Chief, what do you want to say to the public? I mean, just 2 days before Christmas, people out doing like last-minute holiday shopping, and this happened.
Well, I can tell you that the police department, ever since our well-known video from a few weeks ago at one of our other stores, we've continued to increase our police presence. And as you can see, even though this incident occurred, we had an officer with an earshot that was there to be able to respond immediately. The police department has been taking this very seriously to make sure that the mall and our community is kept safe. This is just a very unfortunate incident that is completely out of character for our area. We would never have anything like this occur, and it's very unfortunate, and we're going to do everything we can to ensure that nothing like this happens again.
The situation right now, do you believe that the person of interest, the suspect who is still at large, is that person still on property?
That's what we're trying to investigate right now, and that's why we have SWAT teams going from store to store to clear them and to make sure that no one is hiding in place.
Can you describe what happened at the mall immediately after the gunfire? Did stores go on lockdown? Were people sheltering in place in the back? What was happening?
Very quickly, a lot of people fled, but we did have stores locked down right away as their procedure. We had the mall and the mall managers here. They have a communication system that they're able to put information out to all mall employees and staff immediately to alert them of an emergency, and as well as our department responded, of course, immediately. We immediately called for mutual aid.
Were customers brought to back rooms? I mean, or they were just sheltered?
Yes, we believe at this time there are still many patrons that may have been in some of the stores that are in back rooms with the employees.
Are any of the offenders possibly back there? Are you searching for those offenders?
That's why the SWAT teams are going store to store.
Chief, can you tell us which hospitals the victims were taken to or where they're being treated at right now?
Just at area hospitals. I have that information, but I'm going to hold on to it right now to make sure that those hospitals are prepared for any kind of media attention.
Have you ever had any kind of shooting like this at all?
We actually, about the last time of anything even similar was a security officer who shot an individual, and that was over 9 years ago.
You mentioned the increased police presence after the video we all saw. Was this officer in place today because of that increased police presence?
A lot of the stores had, on their own, had requested additional resources or were paying for additional staff to come in, and Nordstrom's had historically, every holiday season, as well as a couple of the other stores in the mall, employed additional police officers to be on site.
Chief, you mentioned there were 3 potential suspects here. Obviously, during the shootout, the third person, what was their involvement, or how are they?
As far as we know, all we know at this time is that person may or may not have been a companion of one of the individuals.
So again,
Is there a description of that individual or an identity of that individual?
Of the third person, just that they were wearing a puffy coat, and we've got a blue puffy coat and a very limited description, and of course with a mask on.
So again, potentially 3 out of the 4 people hit by gunfire had nothing to do with these 2 people shooting each other. May have possibly been just walking by.
That's the information we have at this time.
When you say ricochet, what do you mean? Bullets were bouncing off things, or this was airing?
Well, that's how it was relayed to me, but until that is all looked at, we have evidence technicians en route that will be looking at the scene, recovering casings, and also looking at any bullet paths to see if there was anything that did strike anything prior.
Were any weapons recovered?
Yes, we do have at least 1 weapon recovered.
What type of weapon?
I'm not able to tell you that at this time.
The person who may be at large, is that one of the 2 people shooting at each other, or is that the companion?
Potentially one of the shooters. That's all I have at this time. Thank you.
Chief, can you give us the first and last name, please?
James Kruger, Kruger.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief, did you say that you're going to be giving updates every hour?
In about an hour, yes.
All right, and there was the press conference just wrapped up moments ago as we got more details into exactly what has occurred here at the Oak Brook Mall in Illinois, just outside of Chicago. We're going to be getting more and more analysis into how law enforcement responds to these types of situations. But let's go over what we know right now in this particular instance. They say there were 2 people in the mall, in a corridor of the mall, shooting at each other, and that 4 people were hit by ricochet bullets. They do not know what started all of this. This occurred in one of the corridors near the Ann Taylor store. As you can imagine, we are just, one day out from Christmas Eve, people doing last-minute Christmas shopping. There is no info on the weapon used, but they have recovered a weapon. And so we'll be learning to find out more about the potential weapon involved in this. Officers are still clearing the mall at this time. Now, of the 4 people who were injured, one of those might be one of the shooters. They do know one of the shooters might even still be at large of the 2 people that were shooting each other. We're going to be joined now by police practices expert Darren Wyatt. He's on the phone. He's going to break all this down with me. He was listening to the press conference. Darren, this is what we know, though, so far. At least 1 weapon was recovered, but potentially they're saying one of the shooters may still be at large in the mall. This was a shootout between two individuals. They're going to be holding another press conference in about an hour's time. They don't know, what might have started all of this altercation, but they are, Darren, still clearing the mall at this time. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, hi, Andrew. Thanks for having me. Yeah, what was curious to me was the fact that Chief Kruger said that potentially there's one more suspect at large, and potentially one of the individuals that was injured in the shooting is the other shooter. Yet they only confirmed recovering one firearm so far, which would lead me to believe that either somebody picked up and fled with the other firearm, or a suspect is potentially still on scene. Which is why they're continuing to search the mall with SWAT teams and going store to store and being very cautious about it. The hard part that they're going to have is there's still probably potentially hundreds, if not thousands, of people in these stores. You can see them escorting people out one by one, but they had a very limited description of that other suspect, just a male with a dark puffy jacket. That person could easily change clothes in a mall or strip himself of his jacket, and it would be very difficult for them to be able to identify the person if he is still on scene.
Of course, Darren, and the tragedy of all of this, and thankfully those injuries are going to be non-life-threatening for those who were injured. But the tragedy of all of this is it's the day before Christmas Eve. The last time we spoke, Black Friday, just after Thanksgiving, that mall shooting in Durham, North Carolina. When you're in a huge shopping complex like this, and Oak Brook Mall is just like that, it sends a panic into so many shoppers. It must have been a zoo today if they're doing last-minute Christmas shopping. And so it also presents a host of issues and problems for law enforcement trying to contain it. Now we're, an hour and a half since we first brought our viewers these live pictures, and they're still evacuating people.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just at the grocery store a short time ago, and the lines were ridiculous. So yes, people are out shopping today, doing that last-minute thing, and like you said, and it's not uncommon, even on a slower shopping day, when there's a perceived incident like this, that panic sets in and people start rushing. Many times you have trampling injuries because people get bottlenecked at doorways and hallways and trying to flee. The traffic fleeing the area becomes a problem for law enforcement and public safety and emergency medical treatment trying to get into the scene. We also were dealing with Oak Brook, Illinois, which is a very small village, small police department. You said we heard the chief say that they immediately called for mutual aid. So there could have been an extended response here. But yeah, just a ridiculous amount of people that would be in the mall today, which just exacerbates the problems. And this is not the only mall shooting that occurred today. Earlier today in Los Angeles, we had one that resulted in an officer-involved shooting with two people killed, one a 14-year-old girl, and it's got to stop.
Yeah, and of course, Darren, we have been covering that here on Live Now. Just for our viewers who aren't familiar with that Burlington coat factory shooting, where a suspect was shot, and unfortunately a 14-year-old teenage girl was a victim as well in North Hollywood. But Darren, I don't want to keep you much longer. I know we're almost to Christmas Eve here tomorrow, but what do law enforcement do now? Once the evacuations are over, once the scene is contained, then what?
Well, they're obviously going to be attempting to interview the suspect who's in custody, see if they can determine the motive. If they're not able to locate the other suspect in the mall tonight, they'll be going through video, trying to make an identification, maybe even making a plea to the public and releasing photographs from the video if they have it, trying to identify him, and then just trying to piece things together. It's a very different situation when it's a suspect-on-suspect type of incident, as we believe this is, as opposed to it being some type of a random, non-targeted event or a domestic terrorism event. There still has to be an investigation and hopefully identification of the parties and then a prosecution of those persons. I would assume that they'd be writing search warrants for the suspect that they have in custody for his residence, trying to obtain additional evidence, anything that may be pertinent there. Speaking with witnesses in the mall, seeing what the confrontation was that led to the shooting, and just really trying to piece things together. So the investigation will be going on until it's concluded, which will likely be throughout the Christmas holiday.
All right, and like I said, we will be bringing the latest press conference in about an hour's time to our viewers here on Live Now. But Darren Wyatt, police practices expert, we appreciate your expertise and insight into situations like this that are seemingly more and more frequent. We hope you have a very, very good, restful, and healthy holiday, Darren.